And it looks like I actually will be joined by another Duckling. I was not sure, but here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have this South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon KZ Gaming, the best Zerg player in all South Korea. It is Dark. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the German Protoss player representing Team Big, or Big Esports. It is ShoWTimE. Demao himself. Does sound like maybe I'll be joined later on in the series. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned as we find ourselves in game number 1. Oh boy, and yeah, we'll see how this all does unfold. We haven't really been seeing too much of Dark versus ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE, of course, is much more akin to his own region, rarely does step out of it, step out of his comfort zone into ESL, Open Cup Asia, or KSL. So it's great to see ShoWTimE being active here in the KungFu Cup and going up against Dark. It's a bit of a treat. Bit of a treat. Oh boy. Especially because ShoWTimE has a very unique style of PvZ. Now, to be fair, I haven't casted ShoWTimE in like 4 weeks, so maybe my knowledge of ShoWTimE is a little bit out of date. But the last time we casted him, every single PvZ, he went for the exact same build. He was going for this very ground-centric defensive style of charged out Archon, Immortal as well. Just very passive, very defensive, getting up to 3 bases, getting up to 4 bases before really being active on the map. It was really interesting because I had never seen anything quite like it. Like Creator has his own variation, but Creator himself is still unique in his own way. Yeah, in the meta of double Oracle into +1 Blink Stalkers, 7 Gate All-Ins, or double Colossus production, ShoWTimE has been doing his own thing. So I'm curious to see if he's still kind of on that trend, or if he is a little bit more accepting of like what all the other Protoss players are doing and being a little bit more active and being a little bit more aggressive. I'm very curious. Very curious. Hi. As it looks like, I may not be alone. Am I being joined by the casting jersey? Oh.
Look behind you.
Oh, the jersey has arrived. Hello, welcome everyone, Kuro, to the stream. Hello, Kupa. Hello.
Hello there.
Oh, so
what did I miss?
So far, just standard openers. Unless you mean the tournament.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool too.
Yeah. So far, we've had some pretty interesting results. I think the biggest upset so far is that Jeshi 2-0'd Oliveira, and Oliveira has been eliminated from the tournament pretty early on. I think a lot of people were expecting him to have a really deep run, but he got knocked out like in the second round. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's also quite interesting that Jeshi, out of all people, is getting nice results. I mean, he's good, but like I don't think he's been having as good of a results as, like, for example, Firefly or like Cyan and so on.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that Firefly and Cyan, they've been getting the spotlight a little bit more often, but it just goes to show that like a rising tide raises all ships, and in general, a lot of the Chinese players have been getting some really good results, and they've all been improving together, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, it really is, and hopefully we can see more of them improving and getting there.
Definitely. Outside of that, Beyond was just eliminated by MaxPax as well to make it to the semifinals in a pretty close best-of-3 series. So MaxPax is able to reprise his role in the semis once again. Any other notables? Classic eliminated Clem. Clem was taken down, I think, in the quarterfinals. Okay. But again, I kind of expected that. Like, Classic's been looking really good. Like, Classic is on fire recently, so it's been really cool to witness that. Classic did fall to ShoWTimE in a PvP, so that's why Classic isn't here. The PvP did bring him down. Likewise, Hero got eliminated by Björn, so Hero isn't here either.
I feel like Hero and Björn have been playing a lot lately.
Yeah.
It's either Hero and Björn or Hero and Dark.
Pretty much. As we are going into a double Oracle opener, the Oracles are going to find this third base very exposed without a Spore, and 5 drones will go down. A lot of hull damage, but the Oracles have survived.
Yeah, they survive, and 5 drones is a pretty nice damage for now, and we do have a third one joining them as well, so this is not the end of the harassment from ShoWTimE, although there should be spores now in every base, so it should be a bit easier to defend.
Yeah, but I'm excited. So coming into this game, I was really concerned that, or I was kind of curious as to how ShoWTimE was playing PvZ. I was concerned that he was still on that really hyper defensive style, but no, ShoWTimE, he's not stopping Oracle production. He makes a 4th Oracle. He has a Forge. No, he's still doing it. Never mind. There's no Twilight Council. He's gonna be stuck at home.
Okay. I mean, 4 Oracles is still pretty interesting choice. Because he's not making more, so this is not mass Oracle, but 4 Oracles will be flying around, you know, getting some harassment done, like getting queens out of position, and we'll see what he can do, because these queens, there's starting to be quite a few of them.
Yeah, exactly. So again, this is a very ShoWTimE way to play. The reason why he has 4 Oracles is because that is all the map presence he has, because his Twilight Council is very late, which means he doesn't have any Blink Stalkers or any charge lots. Like, he has nothing else to be active on the map. He's stuck at home being defensive instead. And this is all intentional. Like, ShoWTimE, he's intentionally delaying all of this tech just to build up his forces back at home. Like, he's got sentries coming out as well. But he does have a Prism on the way, which again is very peculiar to me.
Yeah, but so like Dark also is taking this time to take up. He's expanding. He's getting Hydra, then he's getting Infestation Pit. So like, I mean, if ShoWTimE is not going to be too aggressive, then Dark will just take advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly. He's taking up very heavily. He's saturating his 4 bases, which you have the Hydra Den on the way, as you were saying. So Ling Hydra is going to be the composition of choice, which Dark has been favoring a lot. Meanwhile, the Oracles do find some queens.
Yeah, and they do take down both of them. One of the Oracles falls down, but only 1 for 2 queens is still pretty good, and 3 drones to add to that.
Yeah, so good trades overall by ShoWTimE. Behind this, we are getting into Charged Archon and a Robotic Space. So you can see just all the tech is being thrown down for ShoWTimE. What's really brave of him, and which really caught me off guard, is that ShoWTimE is actually looking to be aggressive, but no, a Ling counterattack is going to be punishing his move out.
Yeah, they kill the shield battery first immediately, and now they are gonna be... Oh, the Zealots actually do distract them, but a lot of the probes are damaged, and they will be starting to fall.
Yeah, meanwhile, we're focusing on the main push, and again, this is a slow lock push. This is why this is really awkward. Like, these Zealots don't really pose too much of a threat, and they're doing some damage, but Dark has players to defend back at home. Meanwhile, the leads across the map are getting out of control.
Yeah, 14 probes already falling down. The Oracles will be able to clean this up, but... Still, this is like almost an entire mineral line worth of probes going down, as all ShoWTimE was able to achieve was make Dark lose some mining time, but not much else.
Yeah, and this is a disastrous start for ShoWTimE, because like his style right now is supposed to be to stay back at home and defend and to preserve your worker count and army count and build up towards the mid game. But ShoWTimE kind of failed at that. You know, he lost 14 workers already, and now Dark is in a really phenomenal position.
Yeah, and Dark is still not moving yet. Like, he's still working his tech, he's still getting his hive, he's getting his bayoning nest. Like, there's still more he can work on before he decides to move out. And because he's not moving out, he's able to defend every attempt of harassment from ShoWTimE.
Yeah, exactly. And from here, ShoWTimE, he's a little bit on the back foot. He is now rushing into Disruptor production, and to be fair, Disruptors can make some magic happen. Even if you're down in supply, even if you're down in the game, Disruptors can help you come back, so there's always potential here for ShoWTimE. But because Dark has so much freedom, he's taking up to Hive Tech, and with that Hive Tech, there should come Vipers.
There should be Vipers, maybe some Lurkers somewhere as well, considering how many Hydras we have, and we'll see if ShoWTimE can deal with that, as this one Disruptor is already a little bit... I don't know, the rally seems a little bit exposed with all these links running around.
He does have to be very careful. I mean, Dark is close to maxing out. He's just trying to be as active as possible. He does come across this Zealot run by, and he's going to be able to clean it up. For the time being, we can see the Hydra's also rotating over as well. It looks like he wants to try to attack here towards the natural base. We have a couple of stasis traps, but one of them does get baited out.
Yeah, it looks like Dark is fairly over on the second one though. Oh, it does trap quite a few of these Zerglings, and Dark decides to... Oh, actually no, he decides to commit anyway.
Yeah, he wants that Disruptor. It looks like the Disruptor will barely manage to survive. At the same time, a Link counterattack towards the southern portion of the map is going to try to catch this Archon, and it looks like it may just barely get it. Oh, ooh.
Now, the shield battery does save the Archon with the help of the Zealots as well. At the same time, ShoWTimE was harassing the base of Dark, so a few probes fall down, but most importantly, the attention of Dark is split between the bases.
Yeah, exactly, and he can't quite break through any of the defenses so far of ShoWTimE, but one disruptor is going to get caught out, and it is going to go down. Meanwhile, the wall is not a wall.
Yeah, I told you the rally looked exposed, and now the Banelings are rolling straight into the natural.
Yeah, exactly. They bust into the natural base. The Oracles are trying to clean them up, but no, it's too much. 15 probes go down.
15 probes. It didn't even look like that many, but it was the entire 15. And look at the probes at the third base as well. They are also damaged. They only have the shields, basically.
Yeah, that was from the Link counterattack earlier. Meanwhile, the Banelings, they want those weakened probes. They're going to bustle through. They do cancel the warp in. No, Banelings do survive to get into the mineral line, but they do take down a couple more of those probes.
Yeah, and Dark is not stopping. He's surrounding the army of ShoWTimE, and the Lynx together with the Hydras should be able to finish this off. There are no Novas to save ShoWTimE.
Yeah, exactly, and everything gets cleaned up. We have a couple of units remaining, but the Lynx, they get into the third base. They bust into the natural as well. The Robos are being depowered. Everything is on fire, and ShoWTimE is falling apart at the seams.
Yeah, 29 probes falling down. The Hydras are in the main base. The natural, sorry. Sure, the Archons are coming back, and we have a High Templar as well. I'm not sure if Storm is researched. No, it's not, so we don't have any Storms available. And ShoWTimE will clean this up, but there is another way.
Yeah, exactly. Again, like, Dark was able to drone up very happily. His bases were left alone as well. We do see the Hydras are keeping the Archons busy. Meanwhile, the Lynx wreak havoc in that mineral line, and altogether, 40 workers have gone down. ShoWTimE still has a decent worker count, to be fair, but he just doesn't really have too much of an army left over.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, Dark's army is generally, like, in small groups. Like, he doesn't attack them all at once, but they are still enough to overpower what ShoWTimE has, and with these few units, he's not able to stop it.
Yeah, exactly. And now, here we go. The Army of Dark has consolidated here at the third base, and GG gets called. Dark will take game number 1.
GG.
GG, well played. And yeah, this is kind of the style that we've been seeing a lot from ShoWTimE. And I was really curious coming into this, is he still doing it or not? Because I haven't casted him in a couple of weeks. But ShoWTimE does do this weird thing where he intentionally delays the Twilight Council, which means he delays Blink, it means he delays Charge. And that means that he's just less active overall. And there's strength behind that because it means that he can, like, get a solid foundation, sure, but even against Dark, like, he had a hard time defending his bases early on and getting away with that.
The thing is that, like, you say that he has time to get solid foundation, but so does Dark. Like, if you give Dark time, Dark is gonna use it. I mean, hey.
Yeah. Exactly. That's kind of the downside of this play style of ShoWTimE, is that I think he expects his opponent to maybe be a little bit more aggressive and be more active, and maybe, you know, cut workers earlier on and just try to, you know, vie for map control and threaten the bases. But as you kind of pointed out, and as we all saw, like, Dark did a really good job at, like, taking advantage of how passive ShoWTimE was being.
Yeah. And then ShoWTimE, I just feel like ShoWTimE didn't have many units at all either. Like, he, as you said, like, he not only delayed the tech, but, like, also the unit production. It felt like he started it quite late. But anyway, that was the first game, and we are now in the second game on Royal Blood, and we are looking at our Zerg player, representing DKZ and South Korea. Currently up 1-0. It is Dark.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have as opponent, we have the German Protoss player representing Big Esports. It is ShoWTimE. And we'll see if ShoWTimE mixes it up, because from my recollection, the last time we casted ShoWTimE, he did that pretty similar build every single game. I think he was doing it against Solar at the time, but yeah, it's just really interesting that, again, what we saw from last game, and I imagine what we're going to see this game as well from ShoWTimE, it's very unique to him. Like, I don't think any other Protoss player out there plays PvZ quite like ShoWTimE. And what's important to say as well is that ShoWTimE can make this work at the highest level of play. He does compete against, players like Lambo and Cyril and Raynor quite often, so he can make it work. But again, I feel like a lot has to go right for him, especially in the early game.
Yeah, also it may be also a little bit of what you mentioned, that it depends quite a bit on what the opponent is doing. Like, depends on the style of the player that he is facing, and sometimes it can just work against him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see how ShoWTimE can mix things up. We'll see if he does decide to change and adapt his build on the fly here against Dark. For the time being, everything is looking quite standard overall. Just a gate expand from ShoWTimE. Likewise, hatch gas pull from Dark.
No natural base for Dark. He's not one of the 15 hatch enthusiasts.
Yeah, unfortunately, he does do it, but on the larger maps, he does it like on Altitude
okay.
and like Ancient Cistern and Gressvan. But yeah, here just gonna be forced to take the unnatural natural instead. Smooch.
Yes, once again we see that Stargate from ShoWTimE, so I assume we will be having more oracles. I'm not sure if it will be as many as last game, but if it's as you say, where like it is kind of like his go-to build, then we could see a very similar game.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on ShoWTimE if he does go up to 4 oracles again, or if he just stays at a more conservative 3 count. For the time being, though, Dark, he's just going to be looking to vie for map control. He gets his 3 bases up and running. He's making another wave of wings just to make sure he's safe against these adepts. First adept is going to head into that mineral line and will come to the shade.
Yeah, it did catch a link, but it also took quite a lot of damage, so it will have to wait for its sister.
Second, the twin adept does show up, and together they can one-shot workers, so they can be quite a threatening army or threatening pair of units. Meanwhile, across the map, the wall wasn't a wall. 2 lings slip in, and Dark gets a full scout of the main. He gets eyes on that oracle, and he even gets a probe kill.
Yeah, he gets a probe. I wonder why that probe was already damaged before. Like, was it from the same lings, or was it the scouting probe?
It was the same lings here at the natural. So 3 probes go down. That's already an insane amount of damage to be dealt with only 2 lings. Oh boy, so ShoWTimE does have to be a little bit careful here. The Oracle does move out. The Lings are looking to threaten potentially the would-be third base.
But so far there is none, and the oracles, the single oracle is for now moving out to check what Dark is up to, but it's not able to get anywhere near the bases, and now the third base is going down exactly as the Lings are coming.
Yeah, the Adepts did threaten a shade across the map, but they cancelled the shade. Dark did see everything with his Overlord, and the Adepts are looking to just get in position and make sure that the third base gets up and running. Meanwhile, we are now up to 2 Oracles. We do have a third behind this, but again, everything is still looking quite standard from ShoWTimE. Even Triple Oracle is quite standard in the hero meta of PvZ.
Yeah, they will be looking for some drone damage, but there are no drones here at the natural. They will find some in the main, but there is a spore already.
Yeah, there's already a spore. They do confirm the Evo chamber, and again, this +1 melee is designed to counteract +1 blink stalkers, so we do see that Dark is already setting up for that. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE is going for the exact same follow-up. He's delaying his Twilight Council, and he's going for a Robo and a Forge.
Interesting. He gets another drone with the Oracle, but yeah, interesting that this is what he decides to go for. And I guess we'll see if Dark will have a similar response this time, or maybe he will try something different.
Yeah, I'm curious as well, as the Oracles are going to be diving on in. They get another 5 drones in total. Nicely done. The Oracles are survived. They're going to be able to back off. Meanwhile, Beyond is going for a Bane. Dark is going for a Bane Bust.
Okay, so we are changing things up. He was like playing last game, and he's like, you know what? Let's just finish it earlier.
Yep, here we go. The Queens.
The Queens are marching. The Banelingness is on the way.
Yep, the Queens are waddling across the map. Dark is going to be going all in. ShoWTimE does spot the Queens, and he's racing back home. He's got shield batteries, cannons on the way. Is this going to be enough? ShoWTimE does have a lot of time to respond, a lot of time to react. Oh boy, and he even does get eyes on these Queens, and Dark, he backs off. He's droning.
Yeah, he actually backed up way early. He was like, almost at the ram. He's like, you know what? Nah, just goes back. I guess after he saw that ShoWTimE spotted, he's like, yeah, that's not worth it.
Oh, and I love this. ShoWTimE likewise also cancels the cannons and shield batteries as well. So After Dark got scattered, Dark respects ShoWTimE enough to recognize that he won't be able to kill him, so he backs off. And likewise, ShoWTimE sees that Dark backed off, so he cancels all the stack defense as well.
So a bit of mind games over there, and Dark doesn't stop from being aggressive though, because I mean he already made the links, he already made the banelings, so he may as well use it, and he will try to slip in a few banelings here and there.
Yeah, he needs to find some damage because Dark's worker count is not what it needs to be. The banelings are going to be connecting here with these depths at least, and he's going to be able to get a full surround.
Yeah, gets the Immortal as well, as the sentries have walled off, and that's a nice pick-up for Dark, but he wants more damage.
Yeah, we have another wave of banelings trying to roll on forward to get into the mineral line. Looks like they will be stopped, but they do connect with the cannons. Dark overall trading very well here, especially in getting that one Immortal.
Yeah, that Immortal was a really nice sniper. ShoWTimE actually doesn't have all that many units right now, so if Dark wanted to make another attack, it could deal quite a lot of damage, and it looks like he will be going for roaches this time.
Yeah, he's making a couple of roaches back at home. He's still a ways off from roach speed, so he won't be hitting without it, but he's droning very heavily. I can't believe it. Like, in the past minute, he droned up from like 40 workers to already 82, so he's already at the ideal worker count that he needs to be at.
Yeah, and ShoWTimE does see that as he flies once again with his oracles, and he will be aware of what's going on. He also has that warp piece for some harassment as well, but I don't know if he has. No, he has charge. Charge has finished.
Yeah, charge is now done. We have Storm on the way. We're getting into a gateway explosion, so ShoWTimE is looking to finally be active on the map, especially with that prism. We'll see if he can pull it off, as he is going to be banking up quite a lot of energy for those storms.
Yeah, but he has to be careful so these High Templars don't get caught off by the Zerglings by another run by coming in, but it looks like he should be ready this time.
And it's not about the run by that you should be worried about, because we have some Dropper Lords on the way. Dark looking to find another way into the main. He does have Pneumatized Carapace, Overlord Speed on the way, but before he can focus on his drop, he has to focus on ShoWTimE's drop, and he sees it coming a mile away.
Yeah, he's very aware of the warp piece being there. Like, all the queens are prepared, even a few roaches to help out as well. The script made with the overlords just to make sure that he has all the vision he may need, and at the same time the drop is on its way.
Yeah, so this is a Bane drop, by the way. There are all three of these overlords are filled to the brim with banelings. Roaches are going to be looking to distract here on the right-hand side, and the banelings, I imagine, are going to be going for the third, the main, and maybe even the natural.
Ooh. All three of those bases are very naked. There's barely any static defense, and like, I mean, there's a shield battery, but it won't matter in the face of banelings.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. The overlords are being spread out, one for every single base. We do have the roach army again, distracting ShoWTimE, distracting him enough for the drop. Oh god.
Yeah, it was long enough. He does evacuate the main base, but not the third, and the banelings are rolling in.
Yeah, the third is going to be going down. The natural is under threat as well. The banelings, they do roll in. Up.
Oh, he almost got it.
He almost got it, but regardless, 37 probes go down. That is more than enough damage.
Yeah, even some on the fourth base as well, as ShoWTimE was busy with the defense of the other bases, and now the army of Dark is also trying to get some kills, but with that stasis he has to be a bit careful. Ooh, the warp piece goes down though.
Yeah, the prism does go down. ShoWTimE is not going to be able to counterattack at all after that, and now Dark can focus once again on the frontal assault. The Ling Roach army pushing on forward, going to be threatening the bases. ShoWTimE has been pulled apart.
Yeah, and more probes are falling down. I think the third drop finally found a way to one of these bases, and yeah, like, ShoWTimE has lost so many. How many probes have died this game? 46.
46 probes, and we're going to be seeing a couple more go down as banelings roll on in towards that base. We do have another Drop Lord full threatening that main base as well. Dark just backs off for the time being, though, is working on his hive, is working to tech up into hive tech.
Yeah, I mean, he's working on the tech, but he also has so many links already. He is maxed out, so he will be trying to get some aggression going.
Yeah, pure Ling Bane. Dark is going to want to get into Ultras from here. Ling Bane into Ultra. Dark, he does love to whip it out. Here we go. Another drop into the main base is going to be spotted by ShoWTimE. So shouldn't do too much damage, but here we go. The main army does push forward.
Yeah, the storms, though, go right on top of the Ling Bane, but there's still so many of it that it may just power through.
Yeah, they may be able to, but no, the force field is just a little bit too good. ShoWTimE, he will defend his third base, but the drop lords, they're not stopping, but there are stalkers in position.
Yeah, but every stalker that is looking over the drop is a stalker that is not on the front line. It's a unit that's not on the front line. Although, I mean, this is a lot of Archons.
Yeah, Lingbane does not trade too well against Archons. So, again, a great unit composition here from ShoWTimE to go into Archons and Storm. Meanwhile, we were talking about the Ultras, and there it is. The Ultra Cavern is on the way. Dark has been using this to great effect over the past couple of weeks in ZvP, and yeah, we'll see if he can use it once again here against ShoWTimE.
Yeah, ShoWTimE keeps an eye on Dark's army with those oracles. They are just chilling around the map, making sure that ShoWTimE is not surprised and from any direction. And this time, Dark did not go for Hydras, so there is nothing to snipe these oracles from the sky.
Yeah, there's not much answer here, but Dark may not care about the oracles. You can look at me all day, you know, but what are you going to do about it? Can you stop it? As would you have ShoWTimE splitting up his own charge lot Archon army? He's going to be trying to go for a split push as well.
Yeah, I mean, see, this army of ShoWTimE looks so much better than the previous time, and now he's trying to sandwich Dark as well. He has Storms, he has all the Archons, and he's crashing into the Lingbane.
Yeah, he really is, and just like that, Dark's army is going to be falling here. On the left-hand side, though, he gets on top of all the High Templar. There is only one left with Storm.
Yeah, that's a really nice snipe for ShoWTimE, but I mean, for Dark, I mean, sorry, but ShoWTimE has so many Zealots and so many Archons still that he's just gonna move forward, and I don't know if Dark can reinforce in time.
We have 5 Ultras on the way. The Ultras are crucial in the defense, but can they come out in time, because they take a long time to produce. A hatchery is going to be going down. We do see ShoWTimE trying to push on in. Meanwhile, the drop up.
Oh, just barely sniped from the sky, and there will be no probe damage there. Meanwhile, the Archons are warping right at the right moment to defend from another run by.
Exactly, but Lings are actually in the natural, and the third base are going to be distracting ShoWTimE, and this has bought enough time for Dark to actually make his Ultra army, but is it going to be good enough against all these Archons? Like, the Archons themselves can do decently well against Ultras.
Yeah, and there's so many of them, and even if they fall, there are some Zealots to back it up as well, so ShoWTimE is just moving forward. The Lings from the back are trying to snipe the Stalkers, but that's about all they can do.
Yeah, and the Ultras cannot push on through. The Ultras are all going to go down one after the other. ShoWTimE is breaking through the defenses of Dark.
And he does. GG is called. ShoWTimE ties it up.
GG, well played. Dark, he loves his Lingbane Ultra, and I don't blame him, but Charged Archon or just pure Archon trades so well against all of that, and ShoWTimE did recognize exactly what Dark was up to, and that massive ball of blue Archons was a bit too much.
Yes, there were a lot of blue balls involved.
Oh yeah.
Some of them were even green.
Excuse me?
I mean, they were dropped.
They were. They were, as we are going to be getting into our next game. Getting into the ace match, game number 3. Oh boy, and we'll see how our players will differ as... Oh, we're actually getting into a much smaller map.
Our next game will be on Dragon Scales. And we'll see if once again we're gonna... I wonder if ShoWTimE is going for a similar style, you know, like delaying his tech, or is he gonna go for something else? Or more importantly, is Dark gonna go for something else? Is Dark gonna just, you know, play a proper macro game? Or is he gonna go aggressive, like actually aggressive? I guess we're gonna find out soon, as we have loaded to the Dragon Scales and we are looking at our Red Zerg player representing DKZ and Korea. It is Dark.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have as opponent, we have the German Protoss player representing Big Esports. It is ShoWTimE. We're getting into our next game, into the ace match. I think a really important thing to remember as well is that last game Dark did initially want to go for a Lingbane all-in. Remember, a Lingbane bust with his queens, and he had to quickly change his mind, change gears, try to go in a bit of a different direction as well, and that did hurt him in the end. But because we're on Dragon Scales, this is the second smallest map in the map pool. I wouldn't be surprised if Dark has some kind of different all-in mind.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be surprised. I mean, in general, like, I feel, how do I put it? Seeing how aggressive Dark has been recently, I'm surprised that he's been playing this series so calm.
I mean, I think to put that into context, especially considering how he plays against Hero. Like, usually how he plays against Hero, like, he's an animal. Like, we have proxy hatches, we have, like, Nidus all-ins, and, like, Roach Ravager pushes. Like,
I mean,
yeah.
You say versus Hero, but you said it yourself that recently you've seen Dark play versus like a lower ranked player. Like, I don't know if amateur play, but like he met someone in the cup and he also like, you know, got the Niduses up and everything. Like, I feel like that's just the style that Dark enjoys a lot.
Yeah, it really is. Unfortunately, I do think that specifically because of how ShoWTimE plays, I don't know if that's really good against him, you know? Like, I really liked how Dark played out game 1, where he was just hyper greedy, and was able to overwhelm ShoWTimE. In game 2, I think we got to see exactly what ShoWTimE wants his opponent to do. I think ShoWTimE wants his opponent to be aggressive. I think that he wants to be facing all-ins because he can react to that so much better. So because of that, it's maybe even forcing Dark outside of his comfort zone.
Maybe. Definitely see that, so we'll see which version of Dark we're gonna witness this time. As ShoWTimE once again goes for the Stargate.
Stargate opener from ShoWTimE. Everything's looking quite standard from everyone involved. Dark has a couple of links spread out. He's looking and waiting for the Adept to move out, and now he can slip in and try to get a full scout once the Overlord spots the second Adept out on the map. Meanwhile, do you see Kanan in the chat asking about like what kind of better army compositions against Mass Archon? And I do think that like almost any other, like I think ShoWTimE was special. Yeah, I do think that ShoWTimE was specializing his army specifically for what Dark had, whereas if Dark had been able to tech up in a different direction, whether it's, you know, Hydra Lurker Viper or going Roach Ravager into Broodlord Corruptor, like there are other compositions that Dark obviously has used to great effect, but specifically because he was just on the one-track mind of Lingbane into Ultra, yeah, it can struggle against Mass Archon.
What if he went more like Link Roach? Because he was making roaches, but he only made like a few of them and then didn't use them all as much.
Yeah, that's also why like it's a bit of a meme sometimes, and the meme is sometimes accurate, where you're like, oh, he's making ultras, he wants to lose, because like ultras are so expensive, they're so supply heavy as well, and you're so committed when you invest into them. And you're right, like last game, if Dark had just gone, because he had a Roach Horn, of course, if he had gone for Lingbane Roach Ravager and just like invested a little bit more into Roach upgrades, then he could utilize that composition to even greater effect against pure Archon or Archon Charge Lord.
Because generally in response to Archons, like you generally will go for roaches, like like early on, like in the late game obviously it will get different, but like early on you will go for roaches because they deal fairly well with Archons, but yeah, for some reason Dark just opted to not make them.
Yeah, I think that's just sometimes Dark can be a little bit stubborn at times, and you know, that's part of his personality. That's why he's a lot of fun to watch as well, because he has his own unique play style. But I do think that that's what really was being showcased there, is that Dark, he wanted to make ultras regardless of what his opponent was doing, even though ShoWTimE maybe had a pretty threatening and scary army against that. Like Dark would want to do that anyway, and that's just kind of the Dark that we know and love. You know, we wouldn't have it any other way, I guess.
Sure. As these oracles are once again trying to get some damage, getting 2 drones, not bad, but yeah, no fireworks there. I think ShoWTimE made more adepts this time though, or at least he was more aggressive with them.
Yeah, he was definitely poking out with said adepts, just trying to be as aggressive as possible, bearing in mind that there is no Twilight Council with this, so it's not like these are vanilla adepts, so they're not the most impactful, but this is a really awkward timing because he's hitting before any glaives could be done, because there aren't any glaives, and as a result Dark isn't quite ready for this with roaches. He only has Link Queen. Yeah,
the roach were only just finished, so it will be a while before he gets them, and the links alone are not able to stop all of this together with the oracles.
Yeah, exactly. One queen does go down. It looks like the Lings are going to be able to get a full surround, and the Adepts will be cleaned up just in time. This could have been scarier. This could have been worse, but Dark does clean it up without losing any drones.
Yeah, he does lose 2 queens, which is painful, definitely, but at least he was able to save his mineral lines, and I guess we're just going to the next step as ShoWTimE is getting the Twilight Council.
Yeah, and ShoWTimE was able to do some inadvertent damage as well. He forced Dark to make all these Lings, and now Dark has to use them in some way, shape, or form. There isn't much on the ground to defend, so ShoWTimE is a little bit vulnerable. We'll see what Dark can get done.
Yeah, there are the sentries though, so in case things get dire, he can always use this force field. Actually, this is a really cute force field on top of the cannon. It's kind of like protected.
Yeah, it doesn't let it get surrounded or attacked. Meanwhile, I love this from Dark. This is another great reaction. It looks like he is adapting to ShoWTimE. He's like, okay, ShoWTimE, he's going for this like ground-related army. Going for Charger, Archon, Immortal. What works good against that? Stormhosts.
Yeah, and it's not any Stormhorse, it's neither Stormhorse. Oh boy.
Yeah. I am a little bit concerned, but thankfully Blink is really delayed. So Blink Stalkers are usually a really good answer to this because they're so mobile. They can hunt down these Niduses, they can hunt down the Swarm Hosts as well after the Locust waves go out. But because this is such a delayed Blink, it's not going to be ready for this, and the first wave is going to be pretty impactful.
Yeah, and Dark makes sure to distract ShoWTimE with these Zerglings, so he does not have any forces here at the third base, and we'll see once these Swarmhosts unload how much damage they can do.
Yeah, exactly. So time being, they were on a little bit of an A move there, so they do go down on those, on the production buildings, but here we go, we do dive into the mineral line, and we're going to be able to focus down the shield battery.
I mean, the production buildings may be right though, because this one pylon unpowers all of the gateways, so that's a lot of production down for ShoWTimE.
Yeah, exactly. And that was merely the first wave. We have a second Nidus here on the right-hand side. We have a third Nidus here in the center of the map as well. And we can see ShoWTimE is trying to be active. He's trying to find them. He will find the center Nidus, but the Swarm Hosts, they just come out on the right-hand side instead.
Yeah, like there's never just one Nidus, and ShoWTimE is not quite able to handle all of them, so we'll see once again what Dark is will be able to do as another wave of Locusts is coming in.
Yeah, exactly. It's going into the main base. We have a couple of Stalkers to try and trade as best they can, but they don't have Blink. The Stalkers are going to be going down one after the other.
And once again, pylons going down, not empowering anything though. At the same time, the Roach Ravager army together with the Lynx is trapping the Colossi on the front.
Oh, the Biles will connect with the sentries. Every single sentry is going to be going down. Dark's main army is forced back. The Nidus in the main gets cleaned up, but Dark has done so much damage already. He has the map control, and he's also transitioning into Hive Tech.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's still making roaches. He's still making army. He's not droning up more for the time being, but he will be working on the tech at the same time. Another waves of locusts are ready, and they will be flying over to ShoWTimE once again.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, there is no splash damage, no Archons, no Storm to help deal with this. The Colossi putting in a lot of work, but oh my god, the Locust Wave, they take down all this attack defense. They want that Immortal as well, but they're going to settle for a cannon.
Yeah, the Immortal was a bit too far together with that overcharge, not quite able to break it, but as you said, taking down the static defense is always nice, and this is not the end.
Yeah, exactly. I love this from Dark. He's actually taking up into a Hydra Den. He's up against a pretty robust ground army, but Blink Stalkers and Colossi, what works well against them? Lunkers, Papi. I do believe that Dark is headed in the Lurker direction.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. We'll have to be... I mean, the one problem is that he did use quite a lot of supply on this Swarm Host, so he has to make sure that they constantly get damage. But yeah, it looks like he will be switching to the Lurkers. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, before that happens, these Roaches are already doing so well for themselves. A Colossi goes down. Biles connect with these Stalkers as well. Dark does want to trade this out at the same time. Another Locust Wave comes in, and what can we get done? Just a couple of probes here and there, nothing too major.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised that the Locusts were able to traverse so much. That they went all the way to the natural.
Exactly, and there is that Lurker Den that we were talking about. There's the Vipers as well, so good. Hydra Lurker Viper can work quite well if the game goes on that long, but we'll see if ShoWTimE can survive because he's still struggling to deal with these Swarm Hosts and the Roach Ravager.
I mean, the good news for ShoWTimE is that he was able to take that fourth base despite all the attacks from Dark, but the attacks are not stopping. We have more Swarm Hosts, we have more Roaches, and as you said, the transition is coming.
It is. I love this. The stage trap does get baited out on the right-hand side, but not on the left. The Roach Ravager pushes on forward as well. Locust Wave is able to catch some of these units, but ShoWTimE does defend.
Yeah, and suddenly look at the army of ShoWTimE. It's actually quite powerful now, and it may contest these roaches.
Yeah, it does force Dark back for the time being, but as Dark loses roaches, he's replacing them with Hydras. And these Hydras are soon to be lurkers as well as the Colossi!
Oh. The Colossi gets sniped. It was without support. The Immortal was close as well, but it is saved by this Soulcase. At the same time, though, they find the Swarm Host.
Yeah, we were talking about how Blink Stalkers are a great unit to keep up with these Swarm Hosts, and as we can see, they do chase these Swarm Hosts away. They shut down the Nidus, but we have another Nidus on the horizon. And again, these Swarm Hosts, honestly, they've already paid for themselves. Like, even if they all died here and now, like, it would be okay for Dark. Like, Dark, he has a transition already set up.
I mean, they would free up the supply, so it will actually be beneficial.
Yeah, exactly. As we do have some more roaches being shaved off here towards the left. We have a Locust Wave coming into the natural. Shield Battery will get picked off, and a couple of Stalkers here and there as well.
Yeah, importantly, that was an overcharged Shield Battery, so another overcharge was used by ShoWTimE, so that's always nice for the Zerg. However, though, Dark has to be careful now because ShoWTimE is on the offensive.
He is. He's across the map. He wants those Vipers. He will get one of them, but the Lurkers have arrived, and we cannot push up into Lurkers, not with only one Colossus and one Immortal. With that Dark, he should be able to hold on to his bases.
Yeah, the Oracles are now here to reveal, but they have to be careful. There's a lot of Queens, there's a lot of Spores. ShoWTimE just blinks straight into the main base together with this Colossus, but does Dark have enough to defend him?
He's got the Swarm Hosts are on the way. We have an offensive blink. The Locust Wave is going to be coming out. The Roach army does crumble, but there's no way out for ShoWTimE. He's going to have to recall if he wants to get out.
Yeah, that he will. And the Locusts are chasing the Stalkers. They are trying to run away as far as they can, but it's not quite enough. Most of them will be falling down, and the rest should be finished by the Army of Dark.
Yeah, exactly. Just deep into the main base of Dark. Meanwhile, Dark, as he loses Roaches and Swarm Hosts, he's just remaxing on Hydras and Lings. We do have another force here on the right-hand side, getting some damage done. We do see Dark losing some of his workers, but whenever a lurker shows up, ShoWTimE, he has to respect it. He has to back off.
Yeah, also denying this base of Dark, it looks like, as his army is not quite fast enough to get there. I think he wants to trap this army. He's going around it.
Yeah, ShoWTimE, Dark, he wants to catch this army. One lurker will go down, so a good pick off from ShoWTimE. Ooh, but we do see the lurker's going to be able to cover the backside of Dark, and he wants a Colossus. I don't think he's going to be able to get it, but he wants it.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit ambitious over there with such a small force. But I'm actually getting scared. Like, ShoWTimE's army suddenly is getting quite powerful, and like Dark's army doesn't look all that strong. Like, he can't just make as many units as he would like to.
Yeah, the big thing that's hurting Dark right now is that he lost all of his Vipers, and he's losing Hydras here as well. Dark is being a little bit careless with his unit control. He does have a lurker to harass towards the left-hand side. Eventually this will be cleaned up. We do have the Locust Wave still continuing, getting more damage in the natural.
Yeah, taking some production, taking some pylons, always nice damage. The lurker is still not cleaned up, surprisingly, and it will be getting more probes.
Finally, it will go down after getting 9 workers, so good counter damage done by Dark. These Stalkers have been a thorn in his side, but he's finally going to be able to clean them up as well. And he's got a lot of lurkers now at this point. We have 15 lurkers for Dark, but we still don't have any Vipers. And without the Vipers, we can't really contest against the Colossi and efficiently deal with these high-tech units.
Stalkers trying to go back home, and they notice the Niduses, so they will be cleaned up soon, but not without another wave coming into the base of ShoWTimE.
Yeah, exactly, and this is a little bit scary because Dark has got 2 of these lurkers out here, and they're going to be caught out for free by this army. Again, losses at Dark can't really afford right now because he doesn't have a bank. Locust Wave does run out, and now ShoWTimE can focus on his push, but ShoWTimE, still only got 1 Colossus with this. Like, oh my god, no, ShoWTimE! Ah!
Yeah, these Zealots were already very damaged, and they ran straight into the lurkers. A lot of them will be falling down, but there's still quite a few units left over here, and the Swarm Hosts are not gonna help this fight.
Not right now, but across the map we have a massive lurker counterattack. The fresh mining base of ShoWTimE is going to be going down. He face checked pushing up this ramp with his army, and he paid a massive price for it. He loses his entire gateway supportive army. He's down to 3 Immortals, 1 Colossi, and a handful of Stalkers.
Yeah, that was not the greatest move by ShoWTimE, and the lurkers are still not cleaned up on the other side of the map, and they're just gonna be taking another base.
Yeah, but they are gonna go down though. We have detection, we do have a surround as well. This is gonna be an expensive loss for Dark as he loses every single one of these lurkers. At the same time, oh, we did have a bit of a lurker counterattack here as well, and Dark has been throwing away a lot of his units.
Yeah, that's the scary part. Like, compared to the previous games, I just feel like at no point Dark has, like, a big army. Like, he keeps throwing away units. Like, most of his supply are those swarm hosts, and it gets scary.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when it comes to some of the harassing forces of Dark. Like, he's just been losing not just units, but also very expensive units. They've all been lurkers. Now Dark, he is down to 10 lurkers, which is still should be enough to defend against this, to be fair, depending on the positioning.
Yeah, definitely. The positioning will be very important here, and ShoWTimE is moving in. The lurkers are there to defend, and there's not that much to deal with them, but there is an observer.
There is an observer. Meanwhile, the Vipers have finally been rebuilt. There are 3 of them, topped up full of energy as well. And with that, they can pick off not just Colossi, but also the Immortals and the Archons as well. Any unit they want. And, oh, they don't quite go for it yet, but they will be threatening ShoWTimE.
Yeah, that was very close. That Colossi did look quite interesting. At the same time, ShoWTimE finds another Nidus here, so there will be no sneaking by Dark. And I feel like I almost want to say that the harassment by Dark is over. Like, ShoWTimE is on top of it.
You say that. There is another Nidus on the way in the main base, so it looks like the Colossi and the ground army should be able to rotate over and clean this up. The Nidus will go down. Dark, meanwhile, has been able to max out. He's been able to drone up, saturate his bases. He doesn't have a bank, but he does have a maxed out army, and Hydra Lurker Viper. This is going to be a threatening force, and ShoWTimE, without High Templar, is going to have a hard time counteracting those Vipers. He does warp into High Templar now as we speak.
Yeah, but the army of Dark is already here. It is fighting on the ramp though, and actually, ShoWTimE has to move straight into these lurkers.
Yeah, and every single unit goes down. ShoWTimE's army crumbles in the blink of an eye. GG gets called, and Dark will take the series 2-1.
See, we were talking so much about these abducts, about yoinking all the important units, but we didn't even think about just blind clouding the whole thing.
Yeah, and neither was ShoWTimE, as ShoWTimE A moved forward, and he just walked into the lurkers. His entire army crumbled. He lost almost 50 supply, or almost 70 to 80 supply in the blink of an eye. GG, well played. Dark will take the series 2-1 and advance on to the grand finals.
Nicely done. Oh, yeah, I did not think about that.
And with that, we are now going to be getting ready for our next series. Meanwhile, my condolences to ShoWTimE, of course, as he did fight quite hard to make it this far in the tournament, but he is knocked down to the bronze match, the 3rd place match instead. He still has another game ahead of him because we do distinguish between 3rd and 4th place in this tournament. There is a pretty significant different payout for it, so ShoWTimE will be facing the loser of the 2nd semifinals.